here. It's so beautiful out.
Yes. Hello, Facebook Live. This is Kathy Hare. I just want to thank you for joining us this day. I want to thank my special guests for being here. And it's a beautiful day in the community, right?
Yeah, it's
It's a
gorgeous out here
beautiful
in
day.
Kentucky. Yeah, man.
It's a beautiful. We're in Kentucky, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So I just want to thank you again for being on here, Austin. I know our topic for today is focus, your thoughts, and different things. And like I know I was sharing with you how people were saying that it's like that whole theme, like I was telling you about my pastor, is talking about the focus about blurry vision, and then I get an email from BNI today talking about focus. Don't focus on the circumstances, but focus. Stay focused,
Mm-hmm.
and how distraction can come up. A lot of people. So it's like God is speaking, and
Yeah.
it's like you way in Kentucky, we over here in Florida, you know, and no telling where the email came from. So everybody is, God is dropping that in everyone's spirit about focus. I know life is happening, life be lifing, you
Yeah.
know, but he's still a God of impossibilities. So again, Facebook Live, I want to thank you for coming on this today. We're at 5 o'clock. I know a lot of people are just getting off, or some people it's off and you sitting back getting your coffee or your water. What you drinking, Austin?
This is a water. This is a flavored San Pellegrino.
Okay. Okay. That's it. That's got a lot of healthy stuff with the water and stuff.
That's as close to soda as I get. So
Oh, great. 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 So I'm excited. So let's just kick it off about
let's do
when
it.
when you talked about focus, and how did you come up with that? Because I know I'm always listening to your emails for your when you put it on Facebook. Hey, I'm okay. What he into now? What is he doing now? So, and I love how every time you got, I'm good. And life is good. And I love your inspirational posts. I love how you keep it real. And sometimes people, it's not keeping it real, not saying, okay, yeah, this is that. And so when you keep it real and say, yeah, life mess up sometimes, but you got to keep on pressing. And to hear your story, I just love your story, and it inspires me. And I talked to some other people that you don't even know, that they were like, I like him. Very
Oh,
inspiring. Very, you know, I caught that. So your words that God has given you is really touching and making an impact in the community. So I just want to let you know, because some people reached out to me personally and seen it, and then just meeting you through Kenya and said, that's my mentor. You and her work together, and she said how you pushed her and how you really helped her and you inspired her, and to see her now, she was like, a lot of that came from you pushing her and
mm,
being that coach that pushed her in so many ways that she didn't even know.
wow.
So I just want to yield my mic to you, for you to go ahead and say who you are. I know you're in Kentucky. One question: you went to the Derby since you in Kentucky? Do you go to the Derby?
No, I'm 43 years old and I've never been to the Kentucky Derby. I've been to some Derby parties now, but I've
Yeah.
never actually been to the Kentucky Derby. I live in Lexington and it's about an hour and 20 minutes away in
Oh,
Louisville. So
okay.
never been, never been. I know I should probably hit that up sometime, but
Monica said, "Hello, hello, Monica." Yeah, our family used to drive every year to the Kentucky Derby. Every
oh,
year,
nice.
go there, and had to go to Cincinnati, get the hats and stuff, and go to they went to a special tailor to get the fancy suit. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, to see people all dressed up and the big hats and stuff. And being young, you didn't understand all that, but I remember them drinking a little mint jubilee and all this. And
Yeah, yeah.
but it was a tailor Spanish shop in Cincinnati that they went to, and my uncle went to and got the teller suit and the brim, so
Yeah, no doubt.
but
So with the topic being focus, as we get off track, what got you most excited about talking about focus
the
and
derby,
all that?
yeah. So the focus is that I know a lot of people do derby, and that's why I wanted to bring that up, the
Yeah, no
derby
doubt.
parties and stuff like that, because with you being in Kentucky, some people may relate to that. So I wanted to put those two together too, because a lot of people do derby parties, and then it's
Yeah, no
what's the
doubt.
purpose of it? What is the purpose of having a derby party? What's the purpose of anything that we do? It got to have a purpose to it. And so when our thought life, it can't be all over the place. You thinking all this and you bounce off this wall, you bounce off that. But I really think when it comes to focus, instead of just having an event or having something, what is the purpose? So I would love for you to talk about, when you talk about the thoughts and when you talk about staying focused, also what's the purpose behind it.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Well, so first of all, let me just say that I'm really grateful for you to have me on your platform. I appreciate that. Anytime that I'm blessed and fortunate enough to be able to impart some value onto folks, I'm always grateful for sure. So I appreciate you taking some time. But yeah, I think that a lot of people don't understand the purpose or the power of controlled attention. So I want to have a quote from Napoleon Hill that guides this entire Zoom or this entire podcast. Napoleon Hill once said, direct your thoughts, control your emotions, and you will ordain your destiny. Now, I'll say that again, real quick, for the folks that are taking notes.
Yes.
Direct your thoughts, control your emotions, and you will ordain your destiny. So a lot of people are all over the place, and I've done a lot of for over 20 years. I've taught sessions on goal setting and goal achieving, and most people, and by most I mean well over 90% of folks, they don't have definite written plans for their life. So, they're just waking up, they're going to work, hoping they get a raise, they're coming home, trying to stay married, and, then they're going to sleep and waking up and doing it all over again, right? But they don't have those definite written plans. And, if you can't hit a target you don't have. So I've got 3 points for our meeting today regarding focus. And the first one is to set clear and specific goals. Now, this one seems very obvious, but so many people just don't. And I'll get into the science of why this is important because a lot of people are familiar with goal setting. They know they need to set goals, right? They they know they need to have something, an aim high goal or something that they're going after, right? But not many folks write it down and then they don't get very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a part of your brain, and I reference this all the time because it's such an important thing to know and be aware of. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. Are you familiar with this, Miss Kathy?
No, that's
Okay,
too.
great, awesome. So, the reticular activating system is the part of your brain that, whenever people are referring to the law of attraction, this is the science behind it. So, have you ever bought a car and then you didn't see that car anywhere before, but as
Oh
soon as you
yeah,
buy it,
I know.
now everybody's got the car, right?
Yeah, you see it
So,
everywhere. I'm
yeah,
like, I never seen that car before.
it could be a yellow, Dodge Charger or whatever it is, and now everyone's got it. So that's your reticular activating system. What it does is whatever you believe, the stories you tell yourself about yourself and your life, whatever your beliefs are, your reticular activating system goes to work to try to find evidence or create evidence to support your beliefs. That's why we say, life is what you make it. It's literal in the sense that whatever your beliefs are, your reticular activating system your subconscious, it goes to work proving to you that those things are correct. And it'll omit things that don't
Mm-hmm.
support that. So, what you really need to do is set very clear and specific written goals. And the more detail you can get, print. You can get on ChatGPT now and tell it everything that your goals are, and create a vision board with AI if you wanted to, because it's
Yeah.
really good to have those things in front of you visually. So the first point that I would make is to set clear and specific goals, and that's why. Vision boards are very good, by the way. Visualization is really the key in activating that reticular activating system. So I'll move on to point two. Point two is to take constant
Monica
inventory.
said that is so true in her remarks, and she wrote down what you said
Yep,
in the
absolutely.
remarks.
Absolutely. Now, so point two is to take constant inventory of your thoughts. This is a very big one. So I had a coach at one point in time, Ray, and he taught me. I hired him to teach me how to build a coaching empire because he was very
Hmm.
successful in that respect. And I would say things sometimes, and he says, why would you say that?" And he says, that language doesn't serve you. So you really have to take constant inventory of your thoughts consciously, because they all either add to or subtract from your life. Just like you recognize a battery by the plus sign, if it's
Yes.
positive, negative, it is the minus side. That's the same with your thoughts. They're either working for you, working against you. They're either moving you closer towards the things that you say that you want, or moving you further away from the things that you say you want. So it's important to have a constant conscious inventory of your thoughts. Is that Have you ever had like a moment where you just felt blah, and you didn't really have any energy, and then you get in this spiral, and then you end up scrolling through TikTok
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Instagram. Yeah,
And
okay,
be like,
so
how did I get here?
yeah, and that's not bad. That's not bad. Now, if you're conscious of what you're doing, you'll have less of those moments.
Mhm.
And there are things that you can do scientifically to make sure that whenever you recognize that you're having those moments or those thoughts, those feelings that don't serve you, there are things you can do scientifically to change your biochemistry. Exercise, go for a walk, get some sunshine, talk to a friend, whatever they are. You want to make sure that you are conscious of your thoughts. Once again, they either serve you or they take away from you. Now, um,
That is so true too. Just to piggyback off what you said, because sometimes with me, um, work a lot from my home office. I'm in here, and it's like you feel like you're getting closed in. So it's
yeah,
like, okay, let me go and get some fresh air. Let me go and do something, because exactly what you said. You gotta, because if I do it, it'll be just like you said. So yes.
yep. I Have you ever read the book The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma?
No, let me write that
Oh
down.
man, that's phenomenal. If you
It's called 5 a.m.
Yeah, the 5 a.m. Club. So if you get a second, I got a PhD in YouTube University, right? I'm always
Yeah.
on YouTube. So
Yeah, my husband say that too. You too.
yeah. So if you go
Hey,
to
Tracy.
YouTube and you type in Tom Bilyeu and Robin Sharma, I know both of those last names are pretty rough, right?
Yeah.
Tom
Tom,
Bilyeu, yeah,
Bill, you.
yeah, and
Oh,
Robin
well.
Sharma. There's a podcast called Impact Theory. It's kind of weird nowadays, but it used to be really nice. So Tom interviews Robin, and he's the author of the 5 a.m. Club, and he talks about your morning routine, the power of your morning routine. He talks about getting up, doing some sort of sweaty exercise first thing in the morning, and that releases brain derived neurotropic factor and the whole pharmacy in your body, and serotonin and dopamine levels and all that stuff. So it's a really interesting book. But what you were talking about, just being in your home office and then having to get out, that I'm very big on that. I love going for a walk, middle of the day. I try not to sit for more than 20 or 30 minutes a day. So yeah. Anyway, um, we were talking about focus, and then we started talking about everything else. So
No, that was part of focus, though. That was part of focus.
yeah. Well, so I want to move on to tip number 3, and then I've got something to talk about in closing, and then any questions that you've got. So
Okay, great.
my third tip that I can offer is very big. This is a big one for me, is to optimize your environment for focus and eliminate distractions. I'll give you an example. So most of the time, my phone is muted. I checked my phone right before we started this, about 15 minutes ago. I've got tons of notifications just from
Oh, well.
whatever it is. But I've also got 4,900 unread text messages as
Oh,
well.
wow.
So these are people that didn't get on my calendar. So I try to reiterate to everyone in my life that if it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist. I'm not going to be a slave to my phone. I hate that. Me personally, that's something that if people feel like they can reach out and call me and touch me and text me and I'm just going to respond, that's not how I operate. Um, and there's a lot of folks that they've got anxiety, they've got nervous system disorders, because every time their phone rings or dings or there's a notification, they jump and they got.
Yes, so true.
So yeah, so you have to optimize your environment to be conducive to the life that you want. That means cutting down the distractions so you can focus. That means having a well lit environment. That means whatever you're trying to, reducing clutter. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept of feng shui, or however you say it, is Japanese, I believe. Feng shui.
Hmm.
Yeah, feng
Hmm.
shui. There it is. Are you familiar with that at all? So what I get from it is just making sure that there's not a lot of clutter, cleaning up to bring new energy into your
That's
world and
true.
get rid of stale and stagnant energy, not necessarily bad energy, but stale and stagnant energy. So that's what I get from it. But you want to optimize your environment um, to be conducive to your goals, and that means sometimes keeping your phone on mute, minimizing distractions, things like that. So those are my only three tips that I wanted to impart in terms of focus. But I want you to think about something. So a magnifying glass can be very powerful, right? We all remember, 30 years ago, people were
Hmm.
we were bored. We didn't have TikTok, so we would
Hmm.
fry ants with a magnifying glass in the sunlight. But the power behind that and how it's able to do that, if you take a magnifying glass and you're just all over the place with it, it's not very powerful. But if you focus it and you keep that focus and you direct your focus, it can burn a hole through paper, right?
Hmm.
So that's the power of focus, you know? So I'll tell you the last thing, because there's going to be some people that say, yeah, but it's not that easy. Um, the biggest lie I've ever been told. Do you, whenever I say what's the biggest lie that you've ever been told, is there anything that comes to mind automatically?
That I
You,
think one of the biggest lies is you can't do it. You know, a lot of people say you can't do it. It's like if you present a business, oh, it's so many excuses that somebody tell you um, that you can't. Why?
yeah. So for me, the biggest lie I've ever been told is it's not that simple.
Hmm.
And, if someone were to say, well, what's not? Anything and everything. It's all that simple. There's nothing more powerful than a made up mind and someone that can gain ownership over their mind and they can control their attention, much less control their emotions. That's a truly powerful person. And it is that simple. And yes, you can do that. So that's all
I
I've
know,
got for you, Miss Kathy.
that's good because one of the things my husband, that's his favorite line: keep it simple, stop complicating. You know, he said when you get in a lot of different things, people try to make it complicated or trying to make it this. He said it's just that simple.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. And when you think that you can, he say if you one of his three things that he said that the piggyback on what you saying is when you know that you can't control people, places, or things, and you won't get so like you said, if the phone rings or if something's trying to knock you off distraction and try to get you in it, and you just got to stay focused and
Yep.
where you at. And then I love how you said about your thoughts as well, and I love how you said about the phone because a lot of times um, people, we do allow stuff to get distracted.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes when we go out to dinner or date, I'm looking around and it's people are on a date and
Man,
mostly everyone's on the phone. It's like
how
you
rude.
don't focus on the individual or the date that you're on. It's like you got the phone,
Yeah.
and and that's not good. So I love how you said about scheduling and
Yeah.
about um we can control our thoughts,
Yeah. There's a war for your
and
attention.
emotions. And emotions. I
That's
think
right.
that's one of the biggest things that I got out too is your emotions.
Yeah.
Because our emotions get so balled up to it's like, oh my gosh, you know, and your emotions, you
So that's interesting too. So whenever you can arrive at the place where you realize that you aren't your thoughts and you are not your emotions, but you are the observer of your thoughts and emotions, whenever you really can arrive at that and you understand that, that's powerful as well because you aren't what you believe. You're
hmm
the observer of these things. And so you get to determine the meaning they have. That's another very interesting thing is, there might be something that happens to you and it can affect you certain ways, but you have to understand that you're the one that determines the meaning for all of that. So it's just the meaning that you give it that matters. Does it happen to you? Does it happen for you? That sort of stuff.
So do you think fear can play a part in it as well? Or having people, a lot of people in your ear, do you think that can play as well?
Fear is having faith in evil.
Oh wow, I never heard it like that before.
Yeah. So I know that you're a believer, you're a Christian, and whether the folks watching this are or aren't, hopefully you believe in some form of a higher power, something bigger than yourself, the universe, Buddha, whatever you want to call it. They all stand for love. Every emotion that you have comes from a source of one of two places: love or fear. If you're angry, jealous, any of these things, that's fear based. And any deity, whether it be, God, Buddha, the universe, whatever you want, they're all love based, right? And so fear and those things that come from that, it's like having faith in evil. Doesn't serve you, and it's not real. Most of the things that you're afraid of will never happen. They only happen in here.
And that's so true because a lot of times, fear try to grip you,
Yeah.
and I know, and it starts you. It makes you lose focus. Your thoughts and stuff. You like,
Yeah.
oh, I was going to do this, I was going to do that, but because of fear creeped in, and I know the word says that God doesn't give us a spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. But it happens, and you, like you said, that we have control over our emotions and our thoughts. And it's like, okay, I love how you said that see, we be that person that we can see. Okay, well, let me just be still
Oh yeah.
and just calm down and just be still. Just be
Yeah.
quiet for and regroup, because the more that we do emotions, the more that we do that, it's just going to continue to get all over, and then
Yeah.
what you was focused on and what you was supposed to do is going to lose,
Yeah.
because you allowed this distraction, or we allowed this to happen or that to happen. And it's like, oh my God, what was I doing? You know, what one of the people say,
Faith
faith
until
it
you
until
make
you
it.
make it.
That's right.
Miss Chambers said that. She
Yeah.
said, faith until you make it. And
That's right.
Monica said, if you can think it, you can't. If you think you can't, you can't. And so
That's
that
right.
was played on one of the other things that you said as well. And and I loved how you said about keep it simple. A lot of times it's people are complicated. I love how when someone asks you how you doing, I love how you just come back with
Best day of my life, same as always.
best day
Just
of my
love and
life.
living. That's
I
right.
love it.
That's
How
right.
did you how did you come up? Did you just come up with that, or is it
I did
you have
years ago. I don't remember how many years I've been saying that, maybe a couple of decades. But um, one thing that I'm very conscious of is all we have is this moment. Um, the past, what do they say? Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. Why else would they call it the present?
yes.
So all we have is now. And so many people are so worried about so many things that may or may not ever happen, or they're future pacing. And right now, I'm sitting in air conditioning. I've got clothing. I've got a full belly. I've got something to drink. I'm hanging out with a friend, some good people. So all you really have is that moment. And if at any point in time you find yourself in the darkness, just think about the moment that you're in. And that moment is usually not too bad. That's all you've got is that moment.
So true. What would you say to a person that, they say, oh, you sound like you got it all together, and you telling me to stay focused, you telling me to do all this, but have you ever had life hit you and you had to start over, you had to get where you needed to get focused again? What would you tell that individual that's there in a moment, in their lowest moment, and they're trying to figure it out
Well,
right
those are two different questions. So I answer the first one. Have I ever been, you know, swept off my feet and needed to refocus and rebuild? Yes. So in 2018, I sold my business and I had enough money to last me the rest of my life. And that was in September of 2018. In December of 2018, the gentleman that I trusted to manage my assets for me took them all. So I went from being a multimillionaire to having $19,000 to my name overnight, 2 weeks before Christmas, and I hadn't even been Christmas shopping yet. Shame on me, right? Um, and that was December of 2018. Um, February of 2019, I overdrafted to buy my then wife a Valentine's Day present. I was living in a $1.2 million house that I had paid cash for with exotic cars, a watch collection, all this, and I couldn't figure out how to put food in the fridge. So we sold that house, and I had to shake it off and rebuild. I had no choice. Now we're doing well. I mean, it was quite some time that I had to get my head out of my rear. You know what I'm saying? It took me a minute. Um, but yeah, if somebody is um, rock bottom and they're not doing well, um, then and I've been there, I have, and even then, someone might say, "Oh, but you had the house and the cars and stuff like that." I'm a ninth grade dropout that grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, there's been multiple times in my life in which I've had to rebuild. Um, it's challenges aren't exclusive to you. They're not exclusive to me. It's the human condition. We're here on earth to learn. That's what these things are. There's no testimonial without first the test. You're
Mm-hmm.
gonna be tested. And I'll tell you this, I'll answer the second question in a second. As soon as you say that you want something, as soon as you get clear on your goals, your focus, God, the universe, whatever is going to test you and say, do you really want it as bad as you say? And then the challenges start. That's how it happens. In the comments, am I lying? That's how it happens. As soon as you decide you
Anybody want to
want,
comment on that?
yeah, yeah. If
True.
if you agree with that, let me see in the comment section #test, because as soon as you say I want this new house, I want this new car, I want this new love, I want to lose weight, I want to get my blood pressure down, I want this, whatever it is that you say,
Monica said
then
yes.
you're going to get tested. You're going to get challenges, issues, setbacks, roadblocks, hurdles. You're going to get them all. And it's going to get really bad right when you're about to give up. And then God or the universe is going to push you a little bit further. And if you just, as she said, faith it till you make it, you keep the faith, because anybody can hold the helm when the sea is calm. So if you keep the faith when there's no evidence that you should have any faith, right? And you keep the faith, then the reward is the comeback. What do they say? The what is it? The it's just a setup for a comeback.
Yeah, set up for the
Yeah, yeah,
comeback.
yeah. So I mean, keep that faith, man. Faith it till you make it. So that person that's starting at zero, they're rock bottom. I would tell them just what I would tell myself. Whenever I lost everything at one point in time and was living with my mom and just got my car repossessed, and we were eating at the canned food drive at the Salvation Army, I would say, come up with some definite written plans for achievement and sit down and take some time in silence, be still, and write out exactly what you want to get out of life in as vivid of detail as you possibly can. That way, you have some direction and a North Star, something to keep your focus on when you're burning in hell, right? Because if you're going through hell, don't stay there, right? Have
Yes.
that plan, that vision of where you want to go. Stay focused on that, and
Yes.
then just take the first step. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. So take that first step, and subsequent steps will appear. Just take that first step, and then these three tips. I would say, stay where focus goes, energy flows. So just stay focused, and I'll say this one last thing, and then toss it back to you. Everything you do in your life, and I'm going to talk more about this at our event November 14th, is like casting a vote for the person you're going to be and the life that you're going to have. Because the life that you have, the reality that you're in right now, is the result of past decisions and past thinking. Okay. And so you can't get out of a situation or a life, a reality, a lifestyle that you're in with the same, you can't get out of it with the same thought process that you got in it with. So you got to change that around, focus on something different, take mental inventory of your thoughts. If they aren't for you, they're against you, right? If they don't serve you, they take away from you. And everything you do should move you further towards the things you want out of life. If it doesn't move you towards it, it moves you away from it. Period.
That's so true. That is so true. That because sometimes people, we allow ourselves to live in the past and not the present. And it's like, oh, I messed up. I did this. And I love how you said, sit down, be silent, and take a moment. And
Yeah,
be honest with yourself as well. Be honest.
absolutely.
Be
Absolutely.
honest. Like, hey, I'm not feeling comfortable right now. I'm not at this. and give yourself grace, like God gives us grace. But a lot of times people, it's in the ear, or you're trying to do this and try to do that. And so I really, you know how you talked about, 2018, that's when all that happened.
Mm,
And you could have just said, okay, life is life, and I'm not even going to try anymore. I experienced that, and I'm quite sure do that. um, you had the opportunity of two choices: either stay in it or move forward.
yeah,
And you move forward.
got
And
to.
yeah, you move forward, and then it also, it's going to break yokes over people's lives, because your testimony will share and let people know, because you down one moment, but you don't have to stay there,
That's
you
right.
know. And one of the things that also, when you were talking about how you just lost everything, I remember, um I believe, yeah, it was 20, it was, yeah, 2020. No, it was, no, my son was in school, so he was 15. And me and my husband was going through a struggle in our marriage. And I remember, I had my own business, I was doing good, and I lost focus, and I just stayed focused on what was happening in our marriage. So what happened was, the business went under.
Mm,
Business went under, all of that. Wasn't blaming it on him. I allowed myself to lose focus and stay on that. And so what happened when I took a job at a corporate job, making way less, right? Doing way less. And so 2017 hit, 20 years later, hit, right? Um, and I was started this corporate job around the corner, and I told my husband, I said, "Oh, it's right around the corner. I'm gonna stop doing the Medicare, and I'm just gonna, focus on the life insurance and do this gig, and I'm gonna retire." No, 2016. And so 2017, January comes, and God dropped in my spirit, "I need you to walk off that job and go back into your business."
mm,
20 years later, he restored the business. It was never gone, but he restored it more than what it was. And so it's
yep.
been 10 years now. And how you say that we either can stay stuck and say, "Oh, I tried it." And yes, life been happening, things happen, why I did start over, but I learned from that focus part that you was talking about staying focused. Life gonna happen,
Yeah.
but you still gotta stay focused. Life gonna give you a turn, but you still gotta stay focused. And I'm quite sure, because I've been getting texts about focus, about different things, about life, be lifing. And like one of the young ladies on here, Evelyn, said, "Preach that word to you, Austin." Because a lot of people are lifing right now, and they're really trying to figure it out. So when it came to this message about staying focused, and I shared about you with our pastor about blurry vision and stuff like that, it it's making an impact. It's gonna
Yeah.
make an impact. It's
Yeah.
it's making
It's,
an impact.
I've heard you say a couple times now, life be life. And so that's a good thing. When it stops
Yeah.
life, then you're dead. So,
Yes.
but life is a mixture of opportunity and adversity. It's
Mm-hmm.
always that. So sometimes there's more adversity than there is opportunity, but sometimes there's more opportunity than there is adversity. So, yes, challenges, issues, setbacks, hurdles, problems are part of the human condition. But so is, love and abundance and peace and all these great things. So you really have to control your attention. What you think about, you bring about. So
Mm-hmm.
if life be life, and if you got all these problems, if what was, then you keep thinking about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have more of that, and that's what you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna focus on. That's what your life is.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to focus on things that are growth facilitating and that further you towards the life that you want. Here's the challenge, though. It's a catch-22. Some people do enjoy that victim mindset because it gets them attention.
Yeah.
So you really have to be
Yeah.
conscious. And
Yeah.
if that's what you want, then that's what you want. But for a lot of folks, if you go through the uncomfortable feeling, if you're in that situation of just changing up your thought process and how you view things, then you'll notice that you'll start to attract different things into your life. It's not some woo-woo thing. Hopefully you caught the beginning of this, and you get the science behind what I'm talking about, the reticular activating system. Go back and watch the beginning if you don't know what I mean. But yeah, it's just one of those things that you what you think about, you bring about. It's a fact.
That's so true. A lot of people, I keep repeating the same thing, and it's like you really just have to get that focus and figure it out because
Yeah,
and not play the blaming game, you know,
yeah,
because that gets tiring. That
yeah.
really gets tiring, really, really quick. It gets tiring. So
Yeah,
I just want to thank you again, and I'm so excited about you going to be on the at the Veterans Ball
yeah, I'm
November the
excited too.
14th.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited too. I can't wait. Can't wait to see everybody out there.
Yeah, I know everyone's excited. I told them that and like he's gonna be here, and we're so excited to meet him. I know you're gonna be flying in, and I know you said the other night when we were on that Zoom, you already got your topic down. And one of the things I was sharing um, with our board was how you said when they leave there, they're gonna be walking out with a purpose for themselves.
Yeah, if whenever those folks in Clearwater leave there, my goal is to have them feeling and thinking differently than whenever they walked in there, and to be able to give them some tools uh, to be able to finish out the rest of their life the way that they want. And I'll say this is, you know, Kathy, you're what, 39 years young, something like that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
think about this. Think about this, whether you're 39 or 38. Think about this. If this were a movie about you and your life, you're 5 minutes into that movie. You get to determine what the rest of that movie looks like. You get to determine what it's about. You get to determine the meaning. So live accordingly.
The story. I like that. A movie. Already 5 minutes in.
Yeah, you're just 5 minutes
Five
into
minutes.
it. You get to
5 minutes
determine how it
in.
ends. That's right.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, do anyone have any questions before we end, or you have a statement that you want to say to Austin? Let us know that you're online. Let us know what you're thinking. Focus. Monica said you write your own story.
That's right.
We can allow someone to come in and change our story and say that you're going to do it this way and that way, and you can't blame that person because you allowed it.
Hmm.
You can't blame that person because you allowed it to happen. So
Yes,
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the topic focus.
that's right.
Like, and the
That's right.
focus right
Put those
there.
blinders on. That's right.
Right
That's right.
there. Like, put your blind and not to the right, not to the left. Dallas said, great conversation.
All right. All right.
Great conversation. So, again, can you just tell an individual as well when you said keep it simple? Um, and I want to wrap up with that. Keep it simple.
Was there a question? I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh, I love focus groups. Miss Chambers said
That's
she
right.
loved focus groups. When you said keep it simple, what did you mean by that?
Well, you said that your husband says that quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. But you was talking about when we're doing focus and being there. You said that's what made me think about what he said about keeping it simple. But when you
Yeah.
said what life happens and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So, what I was saying was the biggest lie I've ever been told was it's not that simple. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of folks, whenever you say control your focus, control your emotions, whenever you say these things, um, some people say, oh, it's not that simple. Or they say, oh, you don't understand, man. You don't understand where I come from or my background or my this, that, that. It is that simple. We've talked about this for the past 40 minutes, and we've given folks tips, guidance on how they can make it that simple. What you think about, you bring about. Life truly is what you make it. The science behind that we talked about earlier. So, yeah, it is that simple. Ain't nothing to it but to do it.
So y'all heard it. It is that simple.
That's right.
It is that simple. So again, um, thank you, Miss Chambers. Thank you, Miss Dallas, Monica, Evelyn, each person, and Cantina who joined us. They said great conversation. They really enjoyed the conversation. Miss Billy Chambers said, keep it simple, KISS.
That's right. Keep it short and simple.
Yes. And again, join us next Thursday because Friday is a holiday weekend. I know a lot of people is going to be gone. So we're going to be talking about finances. We're talking about literacy
Yes.
and your finances and credit repair and stuff like that. So make sure you um, mark your calendars for next Thursday. But I just want to thank Mr. Austin for being on here. This is your
My
second
pleasure. My
time
pleasure.
for being on here, for saying yes. I love your inspirational. If you're not friends with him on Facebook, you definitely want to check him out on Facebook because he's always encouraging people, always got something, even a laughter there, make you laugh.
Hey, you got to have fun. You got to have fun.
Yes, yes. And I love your queen. How she say that's one fine man right there.
Yeah,
I love how she always, you know, there, you know, and say,
cheers.
"Yep, I can't wait." She's your biggest supporter, and I love that. And that's in marriages, you need that where you supporting one another and saying, "Yes, that's mine," right? And just doing that, and that's so speaks volume, and it's helping others on
Mm.
Facebook, helping others because when you don't think that your life matters or that people are not looking, they are looking every day to say, "Oh man, I like that." Monica says she's following you every day.
Oh,
I'm following him.
thank you, Monica. I appreciate
Yes, yes. And so again, we want to thank you again, Facebook. Also, mark your calendars for November the 14th.
it.
It's Unique Umbrellas Effect 10th, our milestone, and we're going to have some great um, new things that's going to be happening there. And guess what? Austin is flying all the way from Kentucky,
Yep.
and that is a blessing. That met him through Kenya Allen, and she's going to be an honoree as well for the nonprofit. And so I thank Kenya if she's on here. Thank you for introducing me to Austin, and when you picked up the phone when we asked you, Austin, you said yes. You love with the. Are you on Instagram as well?
Me, I'm on everything.
That's what Monica said. She said, "Are you on Instagram?"
Oh yeah, under Austin Zuloff. Yeah, I'm on
Okay.
everything. I'm on
Okay.
everything.
Okay. So on every
I'm every.
platform.
I'm everywhere like air. I'm all over the place.
Yeah. So, and I was telling, I was like, he was so down to earth, and so, welcoming, when I spoke with you for the
Thank you.
first time. And so I just wanted to say thank you for being, you have such a humble spirit, and thank you for that. Um,
Well, thank you.
yeah, yeah. I mean, because you never know the conversation that you're going to have on the other end. And I really picked that up from you. So I want to thank you.
My pleasure. My
Evelyn
pleasure. I
said
appreciate it.
LOL.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Again, Facebook, if you want to be on my talk show, it's going to be in the afternoon now. And guess who? 5 o'clock. 5 So if you want to be on the show, please give me a call at 813-550-9736 or message me, Kathy Hare. And also, enjoy your weekend. Do something that you never done before. Do something fun. Think out the box, not in the box all the time. Because sometimes we like, oh, you do the same old thing, go from work, church, home, or do something. The other day, I just drove out. I pulled the top down and just rode out, in the Jeep. So do something and make, because you can't just stay in the same old thing. So everybody enjoy your weekend. God bless you and take care.
Bye, guys.